Grab your co-pilot, jump behind the wheel, and travel the farthest fastest in order to win the Shuffle Grand Prix. Hey guys, and welcome to Tantrum House Studio 3. I'm Will Meadows.
And I'm Sara Meadows, and today we're reviewing the game Shuffle Grand Prix from Bicycle. It's designed by Robert Newton, and artwork is by Ruan Liu.
It's a 2 to 4 player light tableau building race game. We were given a copy of it by Bicycle, so let's take a look at how it's played.
To set up the game, give each player a tire, a reference card, and 2 turn trackers.
Whoever randomly draws the farthest distance card from the deck will go first, and you'll begin the game by snake drafting 2 drivers from the deck.
Each player will set up their tableau by placing one of their drivers on top of the other, and by placing both of them on top of their tire health tracker.
Grab the ability cards for your specific drivers and shuffle the 2 decks together, then draw 3 cards and you're ready to begin.
Each turn, players will draw a distance card from the deck and add it to their track. Then you may play an ability card.
Some cards allow you to equip your vehicle, take a pit stop, or toss a trap or a nerf at your opponents.
Or you may discard a card and draw one or pass.
If you've managed to gain any trophies, you can also spend those to swap your drivers or to play an extra ability card.
If your card is ever maxed out on damage, you will spin out. If that happens, you must remove your equipment, lose your top 2 distance cards, and swap your drivers, while the player who caused you to spin out will gain a trophy.
Play continues until the entire distance deck is gone, and then the player with the highest valued distance cards wins. Bicycle, the beloved manufacturer of all playing cards in the world, has finally entered the tabletop scene and has put out a couple of board games this year. One of those is Shuffle Grand Prix. At first glance, this game kind of reminded me of the classic Parker Brothers game Millborn, where you are trying to go a certain distance the fastest and you're adding things to your cards and throwing things at your opponents. But they've taken a lot of the more popular modern mechanics like drafting and tableau building, and they've kind of plugged it into this game, and what we have is Shuffle Grand Prix.
This game has fun artwork. It also has some fun decks that you can mix and match depending on what your driver is and your co-pilot. It has things like a cat deck, and it has like an engineer and a scientist and a spy, and there are lots of fun things you can do to combo those decks.
In the game, players will be drawing that distance card and adding it out onto the table to kind of create their track or to track the distance that they've traveled. The card art for that is really goofy and funny. The game doesn't really have like a catch the leader mechanic per se, but in the game you'll be trading those cards out and trashing them and limiting what other people can play so often that the game has a pretty good swing. You may feel like you're behind at the beginning of the game, but since you're playing that entire deck, you've really got plenty of time to turn the corner and really change up how far you've traveled.
One way that they use to keep track of your player health is through the tire cards. That kind of reminds me how you use the cards to score in euchre and keep track of your score. So that's a fun little way to keep track. You rotate your card around to show how many tires that you have. And if you end up spinning out, you do have another player, your co-pilot, that you can use to continue in the game.
Right, and you'll continue flipping that card back and forth throughout the course of the game, which is kind of interesting because it gives you the variable player power type of thing, to where sometimes you may want to swap it, sometimes you'll have your better driver on top and you'll have to swap it, and so there's a lot of just twists and turns as you go throughout the game.
If this sounds like something that you are interested in, go ahead and check out Shuffle Grand Prix from Bicycle, and then be sure to check out our other videos and content from
Hop in your vehicle, be the first to travel the farthest fastest. Travel the fastest. Travel the farthest fastest. Out of the box reminds me a little bit of the classic Parker Brothers. They're actually from Parker Brothers.
Designed by Robert
Newton.